Robotic. Like a flight attendant. Yeah. And do we need to validate your ticket for today? Or was that yesterday we took care of it?
It must be today, but my husband's got it
Okay,
upstairs.
wonderful.
We
Just
did
want to make sure you're taking care of it.
valet, so
Okay.
he's got it upstairs. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it wasn't the wonderful that
So I can see.
They have guns. Yeah, but that's good for them to blend in. Nobody. I mean, once the door shuts, it's one thing. But go ahead and shut that door, please. Thank you. Good morning and welcome everyone to the Board of Regents meeting of the University of Houston System Board of Regents. As chairman of the board, I'd now like to call this meeting to order. The first item listed on your agenda today is item 2, open forum. I guess no one has signed up for open forum today, so we can move on to the next item listed on your agenda, item 3. A ceremonial swearing, and I feel like we do this every meeting.
we do it every year.
Okay, but it seems like it's twice or 3 times a year.
No.
All right. So Tomas, it was great spending some time with you yesterday. I think we truly have a very special new student regent this year. All right, so Tomas, you and I are going to go up to that podium. And you're going to come up with me, Chancellor, and we're going to do this for the 20th time.
Yes.
We're always swearing in somebody for something.
Is it the same as swearing?
All right. You can stand right there. It's with great pleasure that I introduce and welcome our newest student regent, Tomas Bryan, who was appointed by Governor Abbott on June the 1st, 2024. Mr. Bryan, will you please stand? You're here. Take the podium for a brief swearing in. I want to ask the Chancellor to join me. You're up here too, Chancellor. See, we are moving right along. Mr. Bryan is currently enrolled at the University of Houston and a graduate student pursuing his Master of Science in Finance with the specialization in investment banking and private equity. You're very smart. I tell people that all the time. Get into the business school, do something, and if you want to make the big bucks, get in investment banking. Not banking, but investment banking. So, and private equity. Mr. Bryan currently works for PricewaterhouseCoopers as a financial risk and project manager consultant, where he is deployed to countless engagements for PwC's multinational clients within the financial services industry. In addition to his academic and career development responsibilities, Mr. Bryan is heavily involved with the University of Houston community, serving as a member of the Cougar Investment Fund and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. What do you do at the rodeo? You're just a member. Okay. You would like to be a committee member one day. All right. Mr. Bryan is one of 9 regents who will serve a 1-year term on the Board of Regents of their respective higher education systems. The university regents have the same powers and duties as other members with the exception of voting. Well, that's kind of a misstatement. We need to fix that. All right, because that's our only duty is to vote, okay? Everything else is just a little, all right? But we're gonna fix that, all right? Maybe we'll give you a vote. But if we ever need your vote to pass something, we're really in trouble. So look at it that way. So you really do have a vote, okay? You can maybe convince me not to vote on something, see? so that's the same thing. All right. We are very pleased and honored to welcome the distinguished student from University of Houston into our ranks. I will now administer the oath of office to Mr. Bryan. All right, Tomas, put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Tomas Bryan, I do solemnly swear
I, Tomas Bryan, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the Office of Regents,
the duties of the Office of Regents,
University of Houston System of the State of Texas.
University of Houston System of the State of Texas,
I will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
you can just read it if you get a little, all right.
preserve,
All right. No, I have to
Okay.
say it. All right, you're not going to be sworn in. You can't get ahead of me. I'm just saying, if you get lost, you can read it. But, all right, and if I get lost, you can nudge me, okay? Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States and this state.
and laws of the United States and this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. All right, you passed the first test. Chancellor Couture, let's help me put this lapel pin on here. I will get it all ready for you. Matter of fact, you help him with that. We're gonna, no, you keep that, we'll just put this one on this side. I don't think it says which side it has to be. You don't mind me
No, go
punching a
for it.
hole? Okay, because I don't let him do this to me. I don't let him punch a hole. There we go. Looking good. You're now a regent. You always have to wear that
Absolutely.
as long as you're a regent, and you have to wear it to every class. And you also, you want to wear this to every class.
Absolutely.
And when you do, they will really laugh at you. No.
Thank
You want
so
to say a
much.
word or two?
Yeah, this is an incredible honor to be appointed by the governor and serve on the board, and I'm really excited for the next year and the transformation that we're going to, have for the system. So, thank you so much.
Step up here and let's take a picture. Where's your family live?
Houston.
They didn't want to come up here today?
I told him that I didn't have a plus one. I didn't realize that.
Do you have, is your plus one here?
He had to go to work and all.
Okay. So you don't have any friends?
No.
Hey, Thomas, he does it.
Yes, he does.
He takes no hostages.
No.
All right, we got that over with. Thank you, Tomas. I look forward to that, so. All right. All right, the next item on your agenda, item 4, approval of the minutes from the following meetings, May 15th, 2024 Board of Regents meetings. Has everybody looked at those and reviewed them? I reviewed them, I didn't see anything. Are there any corrections? All right, may I hear a motion to approve these minutes? Thank you, sir. Second, thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries, and these minutes are hereby approved. The next item to be addressed from our agenda today is BOR 5, a looking ahead to the future of higher education, faculty perspective in the UH 2.0 Commission. University of Houston, Dr. Holly Love, Faculty Senate President. We are so looking forward to hearing from you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You are
Chairman.
following a really special person, so
I
we look
know.
forward to you.
And Susie's
Where's
here
she at?
today
Where's
to
Susie?
support me.
There's Susie. Susie's the only person to ever get me to a faculty senate meeting.
I know.
So
It
maybe
was
we
one
can
of our
try it
best
again.
ones,
And
too. Yeah,
all right,
happy to
thank
have
you.
Good morning, esteemed regents. I understand that your upcoming retreat is going to be centered on what's next for the UH system. And I wanted to let you know that faculty are also very excited about what's next. Thank you. Of course, you can guess that faculty are looking ahead at where their research, their academic inquiries, their creative works will lead. They're looking ahead to revisions of their course material, maybe to their program structure. They're looking ahead at best practices for delivering their content so that students are able to absorb and assimilate all that great course material, build those transferable skills to be workforce ready. And this familiar landscape of the academy has been shaped relatively slowly, but we've had punctuations from sudden jarring events here and there. But things seem to be shifting ever more rapidly. Is it due to the pandemic, artificial intelligence, political climate, the actual climate? I don't know. But last January, the UH Faculty Senate hosted a conference where we came together to explore paths at UH in the changing higher education landscape. And Dr. Glenn passed out a handout from that event. And in there, you'll see that we were examining how faculty can navigate DEI issues, tenure, sustainability, well-being. Faculty input is shaping UH's approach to general education requirements, first-year experience, student success. I could fill hours talking about all the ways that faculty are considering what's next in our usual academic context. But I want to use the balance of my time today to let you know that faculty are not standing around with their heads in the sands of academia. We are looking ahead. We are fixed on the horizon, and we see even more challenges and changes coming our way. We are well aware of the developments in intercollegiate athletics. We're very aware of the public's reassessment of higher education, questioning its value, its purpose. And so against that backdrop, President Couture called for the creation of a UH 2.0 commission, a small group of faculty that are charged with dreaming big about what could be coming around the proverbial bend. What could be the next big thing that sets U of H apart in a very crowded landscape? So the faculty selected to participate, they have expertise in economics, in education, organizational management, business. They have impressive technical, academic, and leadership dossiers. Right now, they're asking really difficult questions, and they're imagining new paradigms. It's an uncomfortable exercise for some, but it's really a joy for others. Exploring uncharted territory is, after all, both exhilarating and a little terrifying. So you're going to hear a lot more from this group as they continue to make maps, not merely of what's already out there, but really start imagining and sketching out what could be created. You can't stop us now. So thank you very much, and go Cougs.
Here, here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Love. This item was presented for information only, no further board action. And once again, Holly and Susie, I want to thank you all for being at the announcement of our new athletic director yesterday. It's not something that you have to do, and for the two of y'all to be there and show the support for athletics, I think it just shows that we're all in this together and we're all a team, and we very much appreciate you guys. So if y'all need the athletic director to show up at anything, let me know and I'll make sure he's there. So I appreciate it. Section 3 is next on your agenda. Our committee reports will list the board's consent docket agenda items. These items have been considered and unanimously approved at each of our board committee meetings, which were held yesterday. Pursuant to Board Bylaw 6.9, any regent may request that an individual item be removed from the board's consent docket agenda and addressed by the full board. I'd now like to ask the chair of each of these committees to present their respective reports. Our first committee report will be addressed by the chair of the Endowment Management Committee, not doctor, but yeah, you are, aren't you? You are a doctor.
Yes.
See, been thinking about Jill Biden. She wants to be a doctor, so I'm going to start calling you Dr. Durga Agarwal. Regent, will you please present your committee report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Endowment Management Committee met yesterday, August 21, 2024, and unanimously approved the following action item for submission on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval today as follows. A, approval is requested for the partial liquidation of a quasi-endowment university system fund. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my committee report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next committee report will be addressed by Regent John McCall. who is the Vice Chair of the Audit and Compliance Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Audit and Compliance Committee met yesterday, August 21st, 2024, and unanimously approved the following action item for submission on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval today as follows. Report on the University of Houston System Annual Internal Audit Plan. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my committee report.
Thank you, sir. The next committee report will be addressed by Regent Beth Madison, Chair of the Academic Research and Student Success Committee. Regent Madison, will you please give us your committee report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Academic Research and Student Success Committee met yesterday, August 21, 2024, and unanimously approved the following 5 action items for submission to the board's consent docket agenda for final approval today as follows. Approval of faculty promotion and tenure and academic rank, University of Houston System. 2, approval of faculty emeritus appointments, University of Houston System. 3, approval of faculty workload report, University of Houston System. Approval of new academic programs, University of Houston System. 5, ratification of Vice President of Health Affairs and University Dean, Tillman J. Fertitta, Family College of Medicine, University of Houston. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my committee report.
Thank you so much, Regent Madison. Our final committee report will be given by Regent Ricky Raven, Chair of the Finance, Facilities, and Administration Committee. Just remember, we combine finance with facilities, so he has to chair both of these, and we appreciate the hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance, Facilities, and Administration Committee met yesterday, August 21, 2024, and unanimously approved the following 6 action items for submission on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval today as follows. Number 1, their approval is requested to delegate authority to the Chancellor to negotiate and execute contracts exceeding $1 million for the purchase of goods or services, excluding construction contracts at the University of Houston System. Number 2, approval is requested to delegate authority to the Chancellor to negotiate and execute construction contracts exceeding $1 million for projects at the University of Houston System. Number 3, approval is requested to delegate authority to the Chancellor to negotiate and execute contracts related to the sale of property for the University of Houston System. Number 4, approval is requested to delegate authority to the Chancellor to negotiate and execute contracts related to a real property easement for the University of Houston System. Number 5, approval is requested to delegate authority to the Chancellor to negotiate and execute contracts for the design and construction of a new freshman student housing located at the University of Houston. And finally, number 6, approval is requested to modify banking and investment resolutions for the University of Houston System. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my committee report.
Thank you very much, Regent Raven. Pursuant to Board Bylaws 6.9, does any regent wish to request that an individual item be removed from the board's consent docket agenda and addressed by the full board for further discussion today? If not, may I hear a motion to approve all the items as presented in each of the committee reports?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All items listed under the various committee reports, consent docket agendas have approved by the full board. We'll now move to Section 4 listed on your agenda, committee report items not addressed in the consent docket but requiring final board approval today. There were no items brought forward from the various committees today requiring final board approval. Thank you. Next on the agenda is Section 5, additional board agenda items to be presented before the full board. The first item is BR 6, authorization for the chairman of the board to submit a report to the state legislature and to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, certifying the Board of Regents' compliance with Texas Education Codes Section 513525 for fiscal year 24. Donna Cornell, Vice Chancellor for the Legal Affairs and General Counsel, will you please introduce this item?
This is the requirement that came from the last legislative session, Senate Bill 17, with regard to not having DEI offices and DEI activities on each campus. You've heard me report a couple of times on, the efforts that we have taken across the system for compliance. You heard yesterday from internal audit, they did an audit of the work that we had done to make sure that there were no more DEI-related activities. I have had attestations from across the system down through the dean level, assistant vice president level, looking to make sure that they have combed through their different units. And then we validated that as much as we could. I have also had each president sign a letter. The chancellor, the president will sign hers today, where they sign and swear under the penalty of perjury that they are compliant with Section 51.3525. I feel very confident that we are in a place where we're compliant. The board chair will also have to sign something under penalty of perjury, similarly attesting to all of the compliance-related activities. I've also validated across the state with the other general counsels and with the coordinating board the process that everybody's used. And they're all fairly similar, obviously unique to each particular entity, but I feel very confident in reporting to the board today that we are in compliance. Is it possible there's a one-off there somewhere? It's possible. I don't know of one, and I feel confident in the attestations and signed sworn statements by each of the presidents that the board can make that same attestation under oath. That concludes my report, sir.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. Does anyone have any further questions? Do y'all understand this?
Right.
All right. Does anybody want to discuss it? Nope. All right. May I have a motion to approve this item as presented?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
This item is hereby approved. Next on our agenda, BOR 7, report to the legislative campus carry policy and its implementation at each university. University Assistant Vice Chancellor, will you please present this item?
Yes, this is, the campus carry law was passed in 2015. It's been implemented on each campus. We are required to give a report to the legislature every biennium, every 2 years, and this is the report that we will be submitting on behalf of the system. We've only had, we go through the policies, we look at implementation of the policies, and then we report on the changes. We've only had changes in our policy, very, very small changes at Clear Lake and at downtown. We have not had issues with implementing this law, and we have not had any real, we just haven't had any problems. It's been a non-issue.
Why don't you, though, tell everybody in a minute or two
Sure.
what our policy is and what is the state's policy, just so everybody
Sure,
just knows.
sure. State law, this law said that we can have campus carry on each of our campuses so that people can carry guns. They do not have to have a license to carry to be on campus, because that is, you don't have to have a license in Texas to carry a gun. You can have one. This is the implementation of that law. In the past, most universities and public school, not K through 12, but public universities would have had policies that didn't allow for the carrying of guns on campus, and this law changed that. And so we implemented these policies. We do have exclusion zones on each campus so that it's not like you can carry a gun absolutely everywhere, and the policies list out those exclusion zones. We have a process for storing guns if you needed to go into an area that was excluded. It's been a non-issue, really.
I know, but I think you need to clarify it a little more, just in be a little more specific. I think everybody here, can you carry a gun to class?
Yes.
Okay. You can carry, where can you not carry a gun?
You could not carry a gun. I'm going to have to think of this. I may ask my presidents to help me with this. But the daycare center, I think, is probably an excluded zone.
And the mental health.
Athletic facilities. Athletic
Okay, so you
facilities.
cannot bring one to a football game?
Correct.
Okay, or a basketball game when you're
Correct.
arguing with the guy from Baylor or Kansas or whatever?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, you do not, does it have to be concealed?
It does, I mean, it doesn't, you have the statute, I mean, the,
I'm sorry that I put you on the spot after
That's all
saying
right.
such nice things about you yesterday.
yeah. Cougar, yes.
I know,
the-
but do y'all not, aren't y'all
No,
glad
right.
we're doing this?
Yes.
I apologize, I'm sorry that I didn't know you weren't
That's all
ready.
right. That's okay. I don't
Okay, I just
mind.
assumed you were.
I have every single
I
statute.
know, but I think this is something
Sure.
that everybody needs to
Fine.
know, so no one is surprised. So I
Just-
think this is a good discussion.
That's fine. Rest assured, I do not have every statute memorized. I mean, I wish I did, but I don't.
Okay, next
So,
time I'll warn you.
There are different, I mean, it's going to be unique to each campus. Dorms are, some of the dorms are excluded. Child care center is excluded. The central plant is excluded. The campus rec center is excluded. The health center is excluded. There are certain buildings in Tech Bridge that are excluded.
But the bottom line is, I think the bottom line is that you can show up, drive in your car, get in the parking lot, walk to your class, and take a gun in your class.
Correct.
But does it have, can it be, I assume it could be concealed or on your side, just like it is in the state of Texas?
Correct.
I can go to class with, like Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
But, you know, I don't know that we have ever had a student open carry in class. I
You know,
can't think of
can I
one.
tell you something? We fought this same thing, and just to give you an example, when this was passed, it was passed everywhere. And all my,
So
okay,
no open carry.
no open carry. Okay, but in restaurants and everywhere, you were allowed, and everybody said, put up signs, put up signs. And I said, when you put up a sign, it's going to make everybody realize I can do this.
Right.
And so I said, sometimes it's better not to do anything. And look at all of us. We didn't even know the policy. Well, I can tell you, everybody out there doesn't know the policy either. And I can promise you, students do not think that they can bring a gun to class. They might after they read this transcript, but they didn't before.
Let me just clarify. No open carry on
Okay.
campus. You can have concealed carry.
Okay.
But you cannot have guns even concealed in certain areas, like the dorms, like the child care center, like the athletics facilities.
Well, so if you live in a dorm, you can bring it to your classroom, but how do you get it from your dorm to the classroom?
Most students,
Have to leave in the car.
we have storage facilities,
Okay, but
and a lot of
that's-
them leave it in their car if
Okay.
they want to have a.
All right.
But they can leave it in their car.
So basically, it's very ambiguous.
No, I mean,
Somebody's not going to go, leave their dorm and walk over to their car, their storage facility. They're going to just go stick it in their dorm. So there's nothing we can do about it. So
right, that's the way the law and our
I
policies are
I
written.
think that we've got a good flavor now. But I don't think any of us really understood, exactly, or we didn't remember. So thank you very much for that update.
A holder of a can carry a concealed handgun on or about his person in the buildings, with the exception of exclusion zones. They must be carried in a retention holster that covers the trigger. And you do need a license to carry,
So
to be on campus.
if everybody's understanding what a retention holder is, that's something that was introduced in law enforcement years ago, and all your police departments require it, because somebody can grab your gun but you can't even pull the trigger because there's a separate little hook for where the trigger is. And also, it's a lock where you can't even pull the gun out. There's a release at the bottom of the holster, and people don't even know that that exists. And so you had to do that because policemen were getting in battles and getting shot with their own gun in a tussle. So that's a positive. I'm sure we really enforced that. So, all right, we better move on. Thank you very much for that update.
We have to file this report every 2 years with the legislature.
Does anybody have any further questions about this? Okay. May I hear a motion to approve this item as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This item is hereby approved. BOR 8, approval of proposed calendar of dates for the full year 25-26 University of Houston System Board of Regents Committee Board meetings is the next item to be presented to the board. Vice Chancellor Cornell, will you please present this?
You have up on your screen the new proposed calendar dates.
Why doesn't everybody just look at that, November the 20th? I know I've looked at these, but, yeah, they're already on my calendar. I guess they're already done.
We do try to coordinate the calendars
With me.
before we put the dates together as best we can.
All right.
That's all I have for this item.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. Does anyone have any further questions? If not, can I hear a motion?
So moved. Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This item is hereby approved. The next item to be presented to the board for approval is BOR 9, approval of the current University of Houston System Board of Regents planner for 24-25. Will you present this, please, Ms. Cornell?
So this is, you have up on the screen the planner for the fiscal year 25. We track all the different statutes and when the different reports are required to come to the board, as well as those things that are required by board policy or system policy that are required to come to the board. And this is the planner we put together every year to make sure that we don't miss something. And sometimes we'll push it by a meeting or two, depending on the specific situation. But this is the planner that you get every year for your approval.
All right. Is that planner, does anybody have any problems with that planner? Y'all are such a cooperative board. Y'all should have been on the board 17, 16 years ago.
They would have changed it.
All right, thank you, Vice Chancellor Cornell. Does anyone have any further questions? May I have a motion to approve this? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
This item is hereby approved. The next item to be presented to the board approval is BOR 10, research presentation from the Prescription Drug Misuse Education and Research Premier Center, University of Houston. Senior Vice Chancellor Chase, would you please introduce this item? Thank you.
I can probably carry the room from the back, but I thought you'd want me up here. I have here with me J. Douglas Thornton. He's an associate professor in the Department of Pharmaceutical, Health Outcomes and Policy, and he is the director of the Premier Center. His research, I think you will find interesting. To me, what was most interesting is, and I hope I got it right, how he got interested in this. He has both a PharmD and a PhD, and during his pharmacy residency, he saw firsthand how opioid use really destroyed the lives of individuals and their families. And that led to the kinds of research that he's doing today. So without further ado, I'll let him take the stage. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and I guess I don't know what it takes to get invited to a Board of Regents meeting, but as I'll talk later, I've been invited to speak at quite a few national meetings, and so do I have a clicker? Perfect. So who am I? Thank you for the introduction. My name is Doug Thornton. I'm from West Virginia, grew up in Charleston, clinical pharmacist. I went to pharmacy school in Morgantown. I did a year of pharmacy practice residency in Huntington, West Virginia, which some of you may or may not know is the epicenter of a lot of the prescription drug misuse epidemic in this country. Got a board certification after that in pharmacy practice, and then went back to school and did my health services and outcomes research PhD at our College of Pharmacy as well. I've been at the University of Houston now. This is the start of my 7th year. So who are we? What is Premier? So the Prescription Drug Misuse Education Research Center is a college-level research center that was approved in December of 2018. Our mission is to improve patient outcomes by providing education on safe and effective controlled substance prescribing, as well as serve as a catalyst for research, really focusing managing pain and substance use disorders. And one of our leaders here, Tyler, is one of our PFF positions too, so definitely thanks for that. So I do want to go over a little bit of my philosophy, research philosophy, because what I brought here, one of the things when I was doing my PhD, I worked in healthcare administration, and one of the things we really learned is some of the business management side of things, and one of the things that I tried to build here for the Research Center is a vertical integration philosophy. And so we really try to make sure that we can do epidemiology, primary data collection, secondary data collection, intervention development, so evidence testing, and then implementation science, dissemination of that evidence-based practices, and then ultimately community engagement really affects all of those different categories. In substance use disorder research, we kind of group things into the prevention side, the treatment side, recovery, or harm reduction. Harm reduction is things that keep people alive for longer while they're embracing the treatment and recovery side. The methods that we do, and we're funded, I'm funded from the National Institutes of Health, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and private foundations, but the types of methods that we focus on are outcomes assessments, economic evaluation, implementation science, and policy recommendations. We have made new investments ourselves. We have electronic medical record and claims data. We're providing support for a fellow in clinical and translational research, as well as we house our own server to keep our data in-house. And a lot of that is funded through both myself as the PI, as well as the center IDC, indirect costs, and the college. So a couple examples for local engagement, and so this is our assistant director has really taken the initiative on these, Matthew Wannett. We work with 3 different large health systems here in the city, really all focusing on the same idea of how to most effectively use pain management, typically either in the hospital or post-discharge. And so it's just an example of showing, hey, we were able to get multiple projects, really worked with their training programs. And so you see here the Methodist program, we had our clinical pharmacy fellowship and outcomes research. The St. Luke's Health program, we had the PGY1, PGY2 Health Systems residency, which is actually housed in the University of Houston, called the Houston program. And then for the VA, we had a first-year pharmacy practice resident working on that project. So we really tried to leverage all the different types of trainees that we have available to us on campus. Another big project that I definitely wanted to mention is we were tapped up about a year ago from 2 national organizations called the National Associations of Boards of Pharmacy. So that's the organization that manages all the boards of pharmacy across the country, as well as the National Associations of Chain Pharmacies. And so those are people that manage your large chain pharmacies that you can think of. They came to us to create national practice guidelines. And so this is a big deal because we have gone through the whole process through the last year. We've released our joint consensus practice guideline for these 2 organizations. And we're waiting, but it's looking very good that the AMA the American Medical Association, as well as the American Society of Addiction Medicine. So physician groups are going to sign off on our pharmacist guidelines, which is wonderful, as well as some of the large pharmacy organizations you can imagine, American Pharmacists Association and the like. So I try to, everyone I work with, whether it's fellow faculty, whether it's students or postdocs, and we're on our 9th postdoc, and we're certainly graduating PhD students, is focusing on 3 things: professional impact, local impact, and national impact. And so professional impact, we have been tapped up through the Premier Center to really educate pharmacists throughout the country from these different organizations. So American Association of College of Pharmacy, those are the folks that kind of oversee a lot of the curricular changes and a lot of the best practices for educating pharmacists throughout the country. Obviously, the Texas State Board of Pharmacy, as well as the Texas Pharmacy Association, are local but still professional impact. And then the 2 organizations I mentioned earlier, and then I won the National American Pharmacists Association award in substance abuse education. National impact, again, had the opportunity to work with folks in the White House, the Office of National Drug Control Policy, CDC Foundation, DEA, and again, where appropriate, we work through Megan Schneider in the Office of Government and Community Relations, so definitely thanks a lot to her. But we've had a lot of opportunity to present in front of both multiple federal organizations, including the FDA and the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, as well as these others listed. And then finally, next to finally, we really want to focus on local impact, because I come from a place that's much smaller than Houston, to say the least, and so we had to focus on local impact. Here, it was interesting. When I first came, every other person you talk to would be like, oh, we have a prescription problem? No, we don't have a prescription problem. There's no overdose problem. Now, I think it's pretty pervasive, especially with the rise of fentanyl, illicitly manufactured fentanyl, and how really party drugs or other pharmaceuticals that are seemingly purchased from friends or family members have such a high risk of misuse. And so we do a lot of work with the City of Houston, Harris County, Fort Bend County, and we certainly have done quite a bit with the Houston Chronicle and then local news organizations. And then I also wanted to shout out the Research Reaching Houston program, which has highlighted 2 of our research projects. And then the final thing I'll talk about is I'm the representative on for the Houston region for the Texas Opioid Abatement Fund Council. And so that is an organization under the Comptroller of Public Accounts for the state of Texas, and that is where all the opioid settlement monies came from. And so if anybody has heard of all of the litigation that was brought forth to the drug manufacturers, wholesalers, and the like, well, the rough number is $1.6 billion over an 18-year period, but I'm on the committee that helps both plan how to efficiently use these funds, as well as generate support. I mean, I was just at an event for the City of Houston at Rice University last week, educating folks on how to engage with this type of funding to be able to treat their patients better. So I'll leave it at that, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, you all know where to find me.
Any questions for Dr. Thornton?
Yeah, Dr. Thornton, what is in your view, the next progressive step in making progress against the misuse of prescription drugs?
So I thank you for the question. I always said in kind of 2 ways. One, the next step at the University of Houston, right? I think that's what we always try to put ourselves in. And it's really building up the resources within the College of Medicine, frankly, as well as other health campuses to engage in large clinical work. So I didn't necessarily have time to talk about it, but we partner with our basic science group, the Pharmaceutical and Pharmacological Sciences Department in the College of Pharmacy, to develop new devices, new drugs. And anytime we have to go identify clinics to go test these either new drugs, new devices, or even just start some of the marketing assessments to see how suitable those would be, it's always having to step outside. And so I'm really excited that you all are excited to really build those health science needs on campus. Nationally, that's a bigger question and probably beyond the scope of this meeting, but my personal feeling, it's about really figuring out and modifying why people are wanting to alter their mind with drugs of abuse. And so that's a huge problem. That's been a problem that we've had on and off for millennia, of course, but it's really pervasive today when there are drugs that could kill you in one pill. And so making sure that the education is there, the risk awareness is there for all of our, especially young people who maybe this is their first time thinking they're thrill-seeking or using a medication or a substance that has been purchased from an unknown source, and unfortunately it results in their death. And so it's a couple different pieces, but thank you.
I got a question and appreciate what you're doing. It's like a great program. So our pharmacists who graduate from universities, what are they prepared to do as they interact with the public, or they have a role to play in this?
Yeah.
Do they have an obligation? Is there an expectation in terms of reporting things that they see?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, again, I teach in the pharmacy curriculum as well as the PhD curriculum. It's my personal opinion, but also the opinion of those national training organizations that pharmacists need to be better prepared to engage with patients where they are. And so really, the national practice guidelines that we're having co-signed and rolling out, that is really to say, hey, the DEA is on board, the National Medical Associations are on board, the National Pharmacy Association is on board. This is what the pharmacist should do. And then we also have recommendations for how reimbursement should occur if there are things that go above and beyond that we're asking pharmacists to do. And so my perspective, yes, we were funded from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration specifically to develop a substance use disorder curriculum that we've rolled out in both pharmacy and medicine at the University of Houston College of Pharmacy, and that's something that's been replicated in multiple places throughout the country.
Any other questions? Dr. Thornton, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you all.
This item was presented for information only and requires no action by the committee. The next item will be presented to the board approval, BOR 11, update on legislative priorities, University of Houston. Jason Smith, Vice Chancellor, Government and Community Affairs, would you please step up?
Good morning. So we have just submitted our legislative appropriations request last Friday. Like always, we have an aggressive agenda. I think similarly to last session, there's going to be lots of dollars. The comptroller hasn't released his economic outlook for the next session yet as far as the amount of money we'll have, but a year ago, he was already saying there would be an $18 billion surplus with another $23 billion in the rainy day fund. That was a year ago. We've continued to see the economy grow over the last year. Of course, you know, the last couple of months have been a little bit different, but you know, we'll see. But I think we can safely assume we'll have, you know, $20 to $25 billion at least in surplus this next session. And you know, with that, again, we have an aggressive agenda. I think the first thing I would mention is we've submitted what we call CCAPs, formerly TRBs. These are support for buildings by the legislature. Traditionally, the legislature has funded buildings every other session. It hasn't really turned out that way in the last 10 years, but the legislature did fund buildings 2 sessions ago, and we will hope they get back on that same schedule. We have requests for buildings at all of our universities and campuses. I could detail those if you'd like, but you know, for the most part, these are, we've done some things that are, I would say, hand in glove with buildings and supporting programs, academic programs at each of our campuses. So we're seeing growth academically. We're also requesting buildings to support that growth. As far as specific requests at our universities, at the University of Houston, we've packaged a series of requests that are health-focused to support our optometry program, our nursing program, our College of Medicine, and then also focusing, I'm glad he's walking in, but focusing on the trip backlog that we continue to have. These are matching funds that we get for support from alumni, our contributions that match from the state. The University of Houston continues to have a huge backlog that is owed to us, more than $150 million. A big part of that was our chairman's contribution to support the College of Medicine and AIM. So that'll be a big part of our focus for the University of Houston. We have our request to support some new programs at UHV, including the new aviation program and connecting some of our, some new programs that connect with the industry in the region. For Clear Lake, supporting the Center for Autism and Development Disabilities, a great program that we have, UH Clear Lake, and that supports those folks in need across our region. And then at UH downtown, support for expanding our criminal justice degrees, specifically a center focused on criminal justice in Houston, and using AI to determine where hotspots are, where they could be, and amalgamating crime statistics and providing that support to our law enforcement in the region. The one other thing I would mention is we are in the halfway process of the HEAF funds. HEAF funds we use to support rehabbing buildings and building new buildings. We're asking for additional dollars. All of our systems are asking for that. We're in a process of what that might look like, but generally we think there should be a doubling of that during the next session. So again, a very aggressive legislative agenda. There's some other things out there that, you know, that will be important for us, but that's just a general overview. Happy to answer any questions.
Jason, given the surplus, any chance they'll raise the bar with the tough fund?
I would love that, but I think that's too early to do. You know, as you remember, we still haven't even gotten our first tough payment. That'll probably come in the next couple of months. But maybe we can look at that in the future, Jack.
I guess one thing I would ask is, just for everyone in here, you know, we have a PAC. And so one of our initiatives is always to, how do we ensure that we get what we're asking for? And what are the things we can do early to get in front of the line, because the line's long. And we end up at the end of these sessions looking like, well, we didn't, you know, so-and-so got this and we should have got that. And so is there any strategy you're thinking of relative to who, what, and when?
Well, I mean, the Houston region continues to be well represented among leadership in the legislature. We have a chairman of the House Appropriations Committee that's from Houston. We have the Senate Finance Committee chair from Houston. The Lieutenant Governor's from Houston. You know, so I think we're well represented. Our Houston delegation continues to be in leadership. So I think we support the PAC supports those folks because they've been supportive of us. So I think we're in a good position, like always, to be successful.
I think one of the things that is important, Jason will send out more information when we get to all the details and what we have submitted. But over the last several years, and I don't have exact count, but we have not raised tuition. And the inflation has gone up substantially, and we have not really recovered from the legislature the cost of that just inflationary increase, which means on our institutions, it has been really very tough, particularly the institutions that are running literally at margin. It's very difficult to really retain talent. So one of the requests will be this time to really fund us for the base fund, which has really does not match in today's inflationary costs. So that's, I think, an important piece. And the second, Jason did point out in terms of the HEAF, because that is the funding that we used for deferred maintenance. There's a huge amount of deferred maintenance, many issues. And I think that what happened 8 years ago or something. Every 10 years, legislature does, look at the formula, and I think this is the time we really do need more HEAF money because we don't have PUF, so we can't use the money for those purposes. Then we are prepared to ask for one building from every campus, including Sugar Land and Katy, one for medical school, for UH, for UHV, Clear Lake, and downtown.
Optometry as well.
Right. Right. So I think there's a lot on the agenda. We're going to distill it down to where the pressure points are needed and support is needed from, our larger community, and what is it that we really need to make a better case for. Because for the legislature, it's really not about whether they have fund or not, whether we can make a case that is compelling enough. So that's what we are in the process of now putting together, and we'll bring it to the board, a refined, shortened legislative request for us.
Jason, what's your sense related to what the legislature's sense is about how critically important it is that you have a world-class university in the biggest city, in the biggest state, in the southern half of the country?
I would say, I started the legislature as staff in 2003, and I don't think there was an appreciation for that back then. I think the magic of what have happened since our chancellor and the support from our board and over the last 16 years, I think that's changed. I think Chancellor will tell you when she first started, she couldn't get meetings with chiefs of staff. And now when we visit with her, and in fact with all of our board of regents and professors and whoever we have that we bring to Austin, people are eager to meet with us. They want to be a part of a university that is going places and that people want to support. So I think things have changed significantly, and there is an appreciation for what the University of Houston means for our economy, and moving Houston forward.
Thank you.
I think, some of you, I'm in South Texas, and what we do is we don't give anybody money unless they go down there and visit. It's the perception that we're a third world country and we have to wear body armor when we come down there, so it's really worked out. And we raise about $3 million a year, and it's been very effective to get people down there and see what we have.
Right. Yeah, I think that, talking about the PAC has been focused on people who are supportive of us. I think in the past, the PAC has just given money out because they are from the Houston region or whatever that is, but the focus has been to support people who have been supportive to us.
Yeah, but I think you still need to bring people who have not been here to show up the difference between what U of H now versus 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Sure.
They haven't seen that.
You're right. I mean, same thing for the Valley, but seeing is believing, right? And that's true of our campus. That's true of all of our universities within the system.
Any other questions? Thank you, Vice Chancellor Smith. This item was presented for information only and requires no such action by the committee. The last item for approval on our agenda is BOR 12, resolution in honor of Stephen Spahn's service to the University of Houston system. Would you please?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Spahn
There he
is
is.
here.
There he is.
I will read the resolution, and after that, we'll get Dr. Spahn to come there for the presentation of the resolution. Resolution is important, the words, so therefore, we want to make sure we take time and read it. So, whereas Dr. Stephen J. Spahn, a distinguished family physician, leader, educator, and researcher, has dedicated his career to advancing the health and well-being of individuals and communities both in the United States and internationally. And whereas Dr. Spahn is the founding dean of the Tillman J. Fertitta Family College of Medicine and vice president for medical affairs at the University of Houston, where he has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of medical education and training the next generation of healthcare professionals. And whereas Dr. Span earned the honorific title of Professor Emeritus from the University of Houston for his lifelong dedication to the field of medicine and the integrity with which he performed his duties, and whereas Dr. Span has made a significant contributions to the field of family medicine, having been instrumental in the development of this specialty both domestically and abroad, serving on numerous prestigious commissions and task forces, including the American Academy of Family Physicians Commission on Clinical Policies and Research, and leading initiatives that have established the patient-centered medical home model, and whereas Dr. Span has provided valuable expertise as a consultant to medical schools, residency programs, ministries of health, and healthcare delivery systems around the globe, with a focus on primary care training programs and clinical practice development, thereby enhancing the quality of care and access to health services worldwide. And whereas Dr. Span's previous leadership as chairman of the Department of Family and Community Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine and his tenure as chief medical officer of Tawam Hospital in the United Arab Emirates, among other prestigious roles, has left an indelible mark on the institution he has served as and the community they support. And whereas Dr. Span's educational achievements, including his medical degree from Baylor College of Medicine, residency training at Duke University Medical Center, and MBA from the University of Texas at Dallas, have provided a strong foundation for the legacy his career in medicine became. And whereas Dr. Span's commitment to his profession, his students, and his patients is further exemplified by his dedication to his family, including his wife Nancy, their 2 married children, and 4 grandchildren, all residing in Texas. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the University of Houston System Board of Regents, express our deepest appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Stephen J. Span for his outstanding service, visionary leadership, and unwavering commitment to improving health and healthcare worldwide. Be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the permanent records of the University of Houston System, and that a copy be presented to Dr. Stephen J. Span as a token of our esteem and respect. Dated this 22nd day of August 2024, and signed by all of the board members. So congratulations, Dr. Span. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. You know, it's just been an incredible honor and joy to have the opportunity to work together with this team of folks to develop a new medical school. That opportunity doesn't come along to many people very often. And when our chancellor offered me the opportunity, I thought, you know, this would be something worth doing. And I want to just emphasize it has been a team effort. And I want to thank our Board of Regents for your strong support. Of course, our Chancellor for her visionary leadership. She has been an incredible partner as we have moved forward. I'm proud of what we've achieved together. I think we've made good progress, still progress to make, but it's just been a joy. And thank you for your support and for the honor of allowing me to do this as sort of the pinnacle of my career. Thank you very much.
Yeah, everybody in here hasn't started a business, but when we start at the medical school, it's a new business, and it's not easy to start a new business. And it's something that we haven't done before at the University of Houston in a long time, to take such a major undertaking. And the chancellor had the original vision and got myself on board, and it's something that we fought very, very hard to get, because we couldn't have done it without Austin. And to hire Dr. Spain, and he has run this business for us and made it successful with not any major hiccups. And in a new business, that's very hard to do. So we appreciate it, while at the same time, he was seeing patients one day a week because he wants to stay connected to the community and what happens in the community. So we thank you very much, Doctor, and hopefully you'll come back and see us a lot. So thank you very much. All right, we have to vote on that resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for unanimous proclamation.
Second.
All right, good. Thank God we don't have any opposition to that. This item is hereby approved. We'll now move to Section 6 on your agenda, the Chancellor's Report. Dr. Couture, will you please give us your report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The appointment of 3 new vice presidents has been announced. Dr. Jonathan McCullers, Vice President for Health Affairs and Dean of the Tillman J. Fertitta Family College of Medicine, Claudia Newhouser, Vice Chancellor and Vice President for Research, and Eddie Nunez, the Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics. I know Dr. McCullers is not here today, he's moving, but may I ask Claudia and Eddie to please stand if you're in the room. Oh, right there is the... College of Optometry Associate Professor Wendy Harrison received a $3.3 million award from the National Institutes of Health National Eye Institute to create early detection methods to prevent blindness in patients with pre-diabetic and diabetic conditions. Additionally, Rohit Reddy, Assistant Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering, received a grant with a potential value of $3.2 million from the NIH to improve lupus diagnostics. A team of researchers led by Naveen Varadarajan, MD Anderson Professor in the William A. Brookshire Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, has developed 2 new nasal sprays, NanoSting and NanoSting NS, to prevent and treat respiratory viruses like the coronavirus and the flu. UHS sprinters Sean Maswangni of South Africa and Louis Hinchcliffe of Great Britain won silver and bronze for their home countries at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Earlier this summer, Maswangi was named the 2024 Big 12 Conference Men's Outdoor Performer of the Year, and Hinchcliffe won Houston Track and Field first NCAA Outdoor Track and Field individual title since 2019 in the 100-meter dash. The new Retail Auxiliary and Dining Center, known as the RAD, opened this spring on campus and expanded its offerings with new dining options for the fall. The 2-story, 41,000-foot facility is a very popular spot for students, which stands on the site of the former Student Center satellite building, provides the UH community a place to gather and recharge. Some of the new dining brands include the Burger Joint, Paper Lantern, and the taco stand. Now let's move on to the University of Houston Clear Lake. The College of Education's Early Childhood Program recently received a $583,000 Moody Foundation grant. The grant will significantly advance efforts to enhance the early education workforce with a focus on supporting first-generation students. The University of Houston Clear Lake Nursing Program received $379,000 grant from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Nursing Shortage Reduction Program. It will help UH Clear Lake tackle Texas's nursing shortage by expanding enrollment, promoting the recruitment and retention of Spanish-speaking and bilingual students, and more. In partnership with the Space Center Houston and Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership, the University of Houston Clear Lake co-sponsored the inaugural Space City Job Fair in July. The event, featuring more than 25 employers and drawing more than 500 attendees, provided a networking platform for organizations to connect with recent graduates. Now we move on to University of Houston downtown. The Marilyn Davis College of Business received an $815,000 gift from the C.T. Bauer Foundation, its largest gift to date, contributing to its more than $3.4 million commitment to the University of Houston downtown over the last 5 years. For the first time in school history, the University of Houston Downtown Baseball Club went all the way to the National Collegiate Baseball Association Division II World Series in Alton, Illinois. Led by head coach Scipio Spinks, the Gators were 10-4 in regular season play. 8-time Grammy Award-winning jazz trumpeter, pianist, and composer Terence Blanchard, you see the connection here, is slated to perform as part of the University of Houston Downtown's 50th anniversary. Joining him on his stage will be his own band, plus musicians from the University of Houston Morse School of Music. Now we move to University of Houston Victoria. The University of Houston Victoria is one of the most affordable online colleges in the nation for 2024, according to College Consensus. The list ranks the top 100 colleges and universities that offer affordable tuition in the U.S. UH Victoria was one of 6 Texas universities featured on the list. The University of Houston Victoria Staff Council exceeded its 2023-24 fiscal year goal for volunteer hours by more than 200%. As of July 11th, UHV staff logged 454 hours volunteering in the community around them. The initial target for the recent fiscal year was 10% increase over the previous year's total, but they went up so high. University of Houston Victoria graduate student Elizabeth Akanbi was selected for the U.S. Department of Defense SMART Program Scholarship. This prestigious award provides STEM students with full tuition coverage, an annual stipend, a summer internship, and mentorship. Recipients commit to a year of service as a DoD civilian employee after graduation. Currently, all the universities are really busy in first week of classes and the final days of enrollment. And we'll have the enrollment update later on when we have the ORD. So thank you all very much. Things are all right.
Things are going well at the University of Houston. Thank you, Madam Chancellor. I'd now like to move to our executive session. The Regents will now go into executive session pursuant to the sections of the Texas Government Code listed on page 4. Only those invited are allowed to stay here. So do not stay here if you're not invited. Thank you.
Nobody?
Only, everybody else is released except the board, right, after this? Yeah,
Did he look at your building?
Yeah,
and
but
see
the
how much
majority.
he could build it for himself?
all right.
We may.
I'd like to reconvene the Board of Regents meeting. The Regents met in executive session and conferred with the General Counsel amongst other regents. No action was taken in executive session. Following the various discussions by the board in executive session, the following recommendations and approvals are proposed as follows. The first item is item 13. Approval is requested to ratify the contract for Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics and Athletic Director within the University of Houston. Does anyone have any further questions?
Move the motion.
All opposed? This
Aye.
item is hereby approved. The last item, approval, is item 14. Approval is requested for revised contract for the Chancellor, renewing a deferred compensation, retention bonus, and approving the contingent performance review bonus. I appreciate that, but I'd like to just make sure. Is everybody unanimously in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This item is hereby approved. Thank you, sir. Dr. Couture, do you have any further comments?
Thank you, and I do appreciate your trust and continued support, and I'll do my best.
I have a feeling you're going to do your best. If there is no further business to come before the board, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you all very much for being here today. Everybody is dismissed except the people that are going to the retreat. And we're going to have a working lunch, so go get your plate and sit down and let's get to work.
I like it. I thought we were going to the spa first. Then the retreat.
I have to honestly say, this is a very weak retreat. Spa, no spending money.
We got lobster.
We got lobster.